What is it like to overdose on Adderall? This is Adderall, this is my medication. I take Adderall. What is it like to overdose on Adderall? Now, a lot of times when you think of overdose, you think of going to the hospital on your deathbed, they're resuscitating you. Not all overdoses are like that. Overdosing is taking just a dangerous amount of the drug, and dangerous amount of this drug is different for everybody, and this is my experience with overdosing on Adderall. What's up, guys? If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button, comment down below. Love to have you along for the journey. So overdosing on Adderall was something that happened to me many times, actually, through trial and error. Through trial and error with my even doctors, an overdose of Adderall is, I think, different than what most people would expect, because Adderall is a stimulant. So Adderall stimulates your whole body. It's a dopamine rush. There's a lot that goes into it, and finding that right dose is key. And the hardest part about it is, depending on your weight, depending on genetics, depending on so much, is what is that right dose of Adderall. Now, an overdose to Adderall to me is taking 60 milligrams or more of Adderall. And there are people actually who are on these medications that are taking 60 milligrams or more. For me, 60 milligrams or more is considered an overdose. It is an extreme amount more than what I need, especially when I'm taking 20 milligrams a day, which is 10 milligrams at 7:30 in the morning, and then 10 milligrams at noon. So at any given time, if I was to take 60 milligrams, that's an overdose. What I experience when I overdose on Adderall is there is an increase in my heartbeat. There's an increase in that heart rate. It's an increase in that energy almost. But the biggest is, besides being functioning, besides the ability to function as an adult, to be able to control my thoughts, to be able to focus in on a project or focus in on multiple projects, it gets me to the point that it pushes me over to hyper-focused. I will focus in on one project only, and I put my blinders on to the world. I'm not gonna eat at all during this time. I'm gonna have a massive dopamine rush, so I'm getting massive joy from this one project. It's making me feel good. Trying to accomplish it is making me feel good. And I become obsessed in that one specific thing. There is nothing else happening in life besides that one thing. Your body temperature, you do start to sweat. I notice a lot of perspiration anytime I've done it, a lot of dry mouth. And that one project is the world. And do not try and pull me off of that project, because my mood and temperament is based around that. It is so much in my head that this is what I need to do, that if anything attempts to interrupt or disrupt it, I get angry, I get mad, I get irritable. I will say stuff that I don't mean, because it all shifts back to that focus. When you overdose on Adderall, you take too much Adderall, at a certain point, your heart's going to hurt even more. You're going to end up going into possibly even cardiac arrest, which can lead to the hospital. For hitting that overdose is even more than, for me, 60 milligrams. The most I've ever taken in a dose was 60 milligrams, and it put me into that super hyper-focused state of mind, and just nothing else mattered. And the worst part about that is with any kind of stimulant drug, especially when you OD or you take way more than the recommended amount, whatever those negative effects are, such as with Adderall, there's a dopamine drop, it's worse. Because the more that you take, the more dopamine that's being released, the more energy in your brain and focus is all on one project, that as soon as it starts to exit your system, you go down a lot harder, a lot faster, and even to more of a worse place. With 10 milligrams of Adderall, I can feel my dopamine drops. I can feel a little bit of just a blah feeling, a meh feeling. Don't really want to do much. That's the extent of my drop when it comes to it. When I take way more than the recommended dose, it gets into a hard depression. It gets into negative self-talk. It gets into, I'm exhausted. I'm depressed. I want to cry for no reason. I feel very hopeless. I feel that the end of the world is essentially coming. It's amazing how extreme it can get inside your head of just this massive depression. And it comes to your dopamine being cut off. It's not being released in the massive amount that it was. You're not finding joy even in this one project. Your brain starts to realize that you've lost the day, that you've pushed everything away, and all of a sudden you get a massive overwhelming of life, because you didn't do life. You didn't do a lot of the stuff you were supposed to. You probably didn't change your clothes. You probably didn't take a shower. You probably didn't do anything. You didn't eat. So that's already affecting your mood. That's affecting your brain. So all of that is collapsing in on your body all at once. The best thing I can say is whenever I've been to that state or been to that point is to all of a sudden focus in on baby steps of what do I need to get done to kind of like pull my life back around. Getting into the shower, eating, drinking water, taking care of myself, almost essentially of the basic necessities that when I've taken too much of this drug that I just completely cut everything out of my life, cut everything out of my daily activities to focus in on. That now all of a sudden I got to start taking care of myself because that drop gets even worse and it gets to even a darker place. So it is a struggle, and it's hard to go, okay, what is the right dose for me of Adderall? And for me, it was always what makes me productive to the point that I can accomplish the day, I can keep my thought process where it needs to be. I don't get distracted very easily. That was always the right dose. And the hard part is trying to find that right dose of going up and going down and going up and going down, trying different versions of Adderall, even to Adderall XR, to just regular Adderall, to Ritalin, to finding out how each affects me, stays in my system, what it does to my system, what are the side effects, because every medication out there does have side effects. Adderall happens to have the least amount of side effects for me and giving me the best results. So then all of a sudden, okay, at what point is that sweet spot that for me, it ends up being 10 milligrams. And that's why you need to communicate with your doctor when you're prescribed this and you're doing the trial and error, is to let them know, because doctors don't know, they only know what you tell them. And you have to be very open, you have to be very honest with them. That's the only way you're gonna find that right amount. And it's almost having that reassurance from a doctor going, yep, that's exactly how you're supposed to feel with this medication, and then monitoring it from there. Your heart does take a beating from it. It is a stimulant. It's something that can wear down. I'm 42 years old, and even the doctor has told me, hey, at a certain point, we probably want to get you off of this stimulant because it does have some lasting effects. Can you get addicted to Adderall? Yeah, you can. You can. I've went through Adderall withdrawal before. I'll even do a video on that. It is something that your body does just become used to. I've been on Adderall since I was 18. So your body does build up a little bit of immunity to it. Your body does build up almost a need for it, which it becomes that addictive side to it. But all in all, what it allows me to do in life and how productive it allows me to be in life is everything. So when it comes to medication, when it comes to your doctor, be communicative with them, talk to them, share with them, let them know how you're feeling. And remember that it's okay to take meds. Meds are tools of life, and no matter what meds you're on, let them do their job and communicate with your doctor and realize that it's okay, and it's okay to feel better through medication, that we're not all the same. So if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, hit that like and subscribe button. Love to have you along for the journey. I love to share. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm none of that. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, GAD, MDD. I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. I lost my wife and father to suicide. And I found through sharing is how we almost learn for ourselves of what we're going through in life, because everybody's journey in life is different. So just remember this, that you're not alone.